questions, try to solve it by yourself, and come back to see the solution. Problem is about a brass washer that have a specific figure, is a cylinder, is everything is full of material, and the density, the amount of mass per unit of volume, the amount of mass that you can place in 1 meter cube, you can place 8,600 kilograms. So this is a high density material. For water, for example, is 1,000 kilograms per meter cube. It means that in the same 1 meter cube, you can place 1,000 kilograms for water, but in here you can place more mass of material. So you place 8,300 kilograms. So the problem is asking you what is the weight or what is the mass first that is here. So the volume of this geometrical figure that is a cylinder is pi r squared by h. But there is a hole here in the middle. So instead of finding the total volume like this, pi r squared is the base of the area, h is the height, so the h of the surface of the area by the height is the volume. So instead of calculating the total volume, we need to calculate the volume of the exterior object, the big one, the one that have the radius r2. So it will be pi by r squared by h. And we also calculate the volume of the small cylinder inside, and this one. And so the volume that they are meaning is V2 minus V1, because it's the total volume that the object have. So making the calculation, V1 is this, V2 is like this. Making the calculation, if I did it right, you can check it and let me know. You will find the volume, and the volume is this amount. You place you use your calculator to use the volume, and now you have that the mass is the density by the volume, because the density is the mass divided by the volume. The density, we know the density, and the volume we already know, so we now know the mass. So the mass, I don't remember if I did it correctly or not, the mass is supposed to be 8,500 kilogram per meter. No, this is wrong. I don't remember what I did. Let's go to correct. So you have the volume here. Let's say that the volume, I don't know. I don't want to do the calculation. Let's say that the volume it will be meter cube. It will be, let's say, let me see the picture. The volume will be, H is very small. Well, whatever is the volume. The total volume is V is a number, V0. So the mass, it will be the density, rho, 8,006 kilogram, I think, 8,006 kilogram per 8,006 kilogram per meter cube, multiplied by the volume. The volume is V0 in meters cube. So meter cube will cancel, and I will have the total mass of 8,600 by V0. This multiplication will be the total mass in kilogram. Well, so once that I have the total mass, the weight is the mass by the acceleration of gravity. This is the definition of weight. Weight is a force, and it's mg going down, minus mg. But the magnitude of the force is the mass by g. It's a positive quantity, it's the mass by g. So, so the result will be the mass. The mass is, the result it will be the mass, 8,000, 600 by V0, this is the mass, multiply by 9.8, and will give you the weight. So you do the calculations and you are fine. So the essential thing here is that the volume of a cylinder like this is, the volume is pi r squared by h. The first essential thing to understand. And the second thing is that if these have radius r2, the volume will be r2, and this is the h. Now, if you create a hole, you need to, in the hole, you need to deduce, to subtract the hole. So the volume of the hole, the volume 2 or the volume 1, I think that I call it this V2, the volume 1 will be pi r1 squared by h. And subtracting V2 minus V1, you find the total volume of this object. And the problem is done. Let's go to the next one. Please read carefully and think about it and come back to see the solution. Okay, on these questions, it's a this problem. It's a sketch the force vector, the direction. 60 pounds could be, well, the measure is 60. 60 at 25 degrees east of north. I interpret that east is the 25 and going to the north. I interpret this information like this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Now 40 pounds at pi divided by 3. Pi divided by 3 is 108 divided by 3. It is 60. So 40 pounds at 60 south of the west. South of the west, 60. So I will put this 60 here. Okay, and C is 100 pounds, so the measure of this, it will be 100, will be longer. I didn't make it, if this is 60 and this is 40, this is 100 will be much more longer that I have make this diagram, but I'm sorry. It's a 100 pounds, 40 degrees north of the west, so I interpret that this is 40. And what it says, on a scene carefully sketch each force vector to scale and identity this magnitude. So you can scale this, not like I do it, because I'm not scaling anything. You can do it really well in a good paper with all the squares, with all the squares. And if you do it carefully and you measure well the angle, you can make a good picture. But I'm not going to do it because I know you can do it. Let's go to the next question. I got, wait. Okay, this question we have solved at class. I'm going to redo it. I'm going to redo it in case that you have any doubt. This is the vector A. The vector A exists in this direction, 12 meters in the minus x direction, or 12 meters minus I. 12 minus I minus 12I is the vector A. Perfect. The vector V have the length 18 meters. From the 18 meters, there are a certain amount that exists in the x direction and certain amount exists in the y direction. And the sum of the two quantities is 18 cosine of 37, and now this is 18 sine of 37. So the vector V is just 18 cosine of 37 in the x direction plus 18 sine of 37 in the j direction. Perfect. Now I have to sum A plus B. Let's go to sum it to see if we can sum it. Here, let me see if I can. This explains everything. They have an update, and now how I can do it? Can anyone tell me how? If I Before I can select the object and move it. Now I cannot move the object. I don't know why. So the work that I have done is below this this paper. Let me see if I can. Okay. So the vector A is the vector minus 12i 0g. The vector V is 18 cosine 37 I plus 18 sine 37j. How I will find A plus B? I will sum the I components with the I components, the J components with the J component. So the sum will be minus 12 plus this one amount in the I direction, and later on 0 plus this amount in the J direction. Let's go to write it here because it's not well right here. So A plus V will be minus 12 plus 18 cosine 37 in the I direction plus 0 plus 18 sine of 37 in the J direction. This is I plus V. Let's say that I want to find A plus minus V, which is equivalent to say A minus B. So I will write A minus 12i minus, I will write minus B. B is 18 cosine 37 I plus 18 sine 37j. And now I will do A minus B is here. It's 12i. I will put it together, the I with the I, and the J with the J. So it will be minus 12 minus 18 cosine 37 in the I direction minus 18, this minus, convert this amount in minus 18 sine 37 in the J direction. And this will be the result. Sorry that look a little bit confused, but is this. So, but this kind of calculation, they are easy to do. They are not complicated at all. What I want to focus on is on the concept of doing this in a geometrical way. In a geometrical way, if you have A and you have V like this, you see V was like this, but I have to translate the V to the head of A. If I move the V to the head of A, I can do the sum because it's A plus V, two operations. Operation 1, A, operation B, operation 2, B. And A plus B is this sum. Perfect. So I can do the sum without needing, if I do it correctly with a paper that is calibrated with centimeters and so on, I can get the same result. So let's go to practice A minus B. A minus B is A plus minus B. So there are two ways of doing A minus B. The first way is you place A, you place B. Now when you are going to do the difference, the two vectors, the tail of the two vectors have to be commons. So A minus B is the vector that goes from the last one, from the V, from the head of V to the head of A. Now let's say that you want to do A plus minus B. You will take V, you will place minus V. So now you have A and you have minus V, but now you have to sum. But to sum involves that you move the minus V to this position, to the head of A. Otherwise, you cannot sum. So A minus V is this vector A minus V. And as you see, this vector, if you do in a good sketch, not this one, this vector A minus V is the same vector that this one. A minus V, same direction, going like this, going at the same magnitude. So, same vector. So, I have practiced B minus A. Maybe B minus A you want to practice. B is in this direction. A is in this direction. So V minus A goes from the head of the second to the head of the first. So this is B minus A. If you want to do it in a different way, V minus A will be B plus minus A. So I will sum. I will sum with minus A. So B is this one. A is this one. So minus A is this one. And now I have to sum the V with the minus A. How do I sum? Well, you cannot sum like this. You have to take the vector minus A and put it on the head of V. So this is now minus A, that is the same vector like this. And now V plus minus A, my God, B plus minus A, sorry, B plus minus A will be this vector, because this is the way we make the sum, B minus A. From the tail of B to the head of A is the sum, equal V plus the vector minus A. From the tail of B of the first to the head of the second is the vector minus A. So I hope it's clear. This is what we said during the class. We said that V minus A is the vector that goes from the head of the second, A of the second, to the head of the first. Okay. And what else we said during the class? Let me see what else. We said we tested A minus B. If A is this one and B is this one, A minus B goes from the head of the second, the V, to the head of the first. And now we sum. We sum V with this one, with A minus B. And if we sum it, the V with the A minus B, the algebraic calculation will say that this is the A and is correct. This one is the sum of this plus this, and it's done. I hope you all catch it. B plus. Okay, let's go now to do another problem. Please read carefully and come back to see the answer. So in this problem, we have to find the magnitude of the vector. We know the magnitude of the vector is ax squared plus ay squared. And what is a very subtle, well, it's a subtle question, is the angle. The angle, you have to be careful with the angle. Oh, I think that I learned how to do that. Let me see, uncrew, break. So I do this motion, let me see, this, what is it? Oh, they changed the menu, they changed duplicate, copy, paste. Okay, and how I did this? Wow. Oh, like this, opening. Okay, I learned something today. So the tangent of the angle, so AX, the magnitude of A is clear, AX squared, so it's 4 squared plus 5 squared, square root. This is the magnitude of A. No problem with this. It's Pythagoras theorem, and there is no problem. The tangent of theta is the opposite divided by the adjacent. So it's AY divided by X. So the tangent of theta is 5 divided by 4. So this is what you have to be careful with your computer, with your calculator. Theta is arctangent of 5 divided by 4. And for sure, theta is on the first quadrant. So it will be something between 0 and 90. Second thing that you have to be careful. you need to have your calculator in radians mode. Otherwise, you will not find the angle theta. And finding in radians mode, it will give you a theta in radians. So the angle that you will find will be in radians. Now, if you want to convert to degree, you have to multiply by 360 divided by 2 pi. This will make the conversion from radians to degree. Okay, part B. Let's go to the part B. What it say? The part B, it say AX and AY. In this case, AX is -3 and AY is -4. And this is on the third quadrant. On the third quadrant, the tangent is positive because it's AY divided by AX. And AY is negative and AX is negative, so it will be theta, it will be 4/3. So theta will be R tangent, so tangent of theta will be 4/3, so theta will be R tangent of 4/3. So the angle theta that you are finding is this angle theta. So this theta, the alpha, the angle with the x-axis is pi, these things, pi with theta. So the result that you find in your calculator, you add pi, and this is the angle alpha. Let's go to let me do it in my calculator. Let me use my phone as a calculator. Let me do it. Calculator, let me find calculator. Let me find. So I will use I'm using my phone. So 4 divided by 3. 4 divided by 3 is 1.333. 1.333. Okay, and now this is in radians. Now I need to put the mode in radians. So I think that I have in my mode in radians, so second inverse tangent will be 0.927. So the angle theta will be 0.927. 0.97 what? Radians. If I want to convert to degree, the theta will be 0.927 radians multiplied by 360 divided by 2 pi. So theta will be 0.927 by 360 divided by 6.28. So the angle theta will be, let's go to calculate 360 equal divide by 6.28, and the angle is 53 degrees. So it's 53 degree theta, but the angle alpha is 180 plus 53. And this is the angle. So if you place this number theta 0.29, you have to place pi here. So the angle alpha will be 3.14 plus 0.99, 3.14 plus 0.927, it is 4.14 more or less. But if you place the angle in degree, it will be like this. So you have to be careful with your calculator, V, and you make C and D, okay? You make, I think that they have C and D. You make C and D, okay? It will be easier. It will be easy for you. I'm plus. So let's go to the next one. So read the problem and solve it by yourself. I think that I thought about solving the problem 45. Read 45. The questions 45. I don't see what I did. Wow, what I did. The vector A is 1.3. what I did, where I got this, oh, yes, I'm reading. So this is the vector, I don't see the picture. The vector A, let's go to read it here. The vector A has component 1.3 and 2.25. So the vector A is 1.3 in the x direction and 225 in the y direction. So this is the vector. And the vector V has 4.10 centimeters in the x direction, 4.10, and Vy is minus 3.75. So find, the question is say find the components of the vector sum. The vector sum is summing this with this, the x with the x, the y with the y. So if I didn't make any mistake, 225 minus 3.75 is minus 1.5, and 1.3 plus 4.1 is 5.4. So this is the vector A plus B. This is the sum. And the sum have an x component that is 5.4 and have a y component that is minus 1.5. And the sum have a magnitude, and the magnitude is this square plus this square. With this, we have solved part A. Part B, the magnitude and direction of A plus B. Oh, find the component of the vector. So the component of the vector is this one. And the magnitude is this one, the magnitude. And the direction, we need to find the angle that they form. So we have a vector S that is the sum, and the vector S is this one. It has 5.4 in the x direction and minus 1.5 in the y direction. So the vector A plus B, the sum is this one. So I have to be very, very careful. If I'm going to find this angle, theta, this angle is AY divided by AX, the tangent of theta. So the tangent of theta will be 1.5 divided by AY, 5.4. So theta, it will be, you can make the calculation, arctangent of theta, theta will be arctangent of 1.5 divided by 5.4, and this will give you a number that is positive and is the angle. But in this, the angle is negative. But the angle that they want you to tell you as an answer is this angle, this angle, this angle. So once that you will find theta, who is alpha? Alpha is 2 pi minus theta, because this theta is in radians. So you have to subtract for 2 pi. Now, if you want to convert this angle to degree, it will be another thing. Let's go to do in my calculator. I take my calculator. Let's go to do it. It will be, let me erase the calculator. It will be 1.5 divided by 5.4, 5.4. This is 0.27. So I need to be sure that my calculator is in radians mode. So I will say the second function tangent minus 1 is arctangent. So arctangent will be theta will be, according to my calculator, 0.27 radians. So alpha will be 3.14 minus 0.27. 1 radians is around 56 degrees, something like this, 1 radian. And 2 pi radians, 360 will be like 2 pi. 360 is 2 pi. So the angle alpha will be 314 minus 0.27, and this is 3.14 minus 0.27. So it's the whole the whole circle, the whole around is 2 pi, or 2 pi is 6.28. Sorry. 2 pi is 6.28. 6.28 minus 0, but this is like 6 radians. And 6 radians, we can convert the 6 radians to degree. So 6 radian is 6 radians multiplied by 360 divided by 2 pi radians. And now is 6 by 360, radians will go. 6 multiplied by 600 divided by 2 pi, but 2 pi is 6.28. So this will be, let's go to do it, 6 multiplied by 360 divided by 6.28 will be 343. It's reasonable. It's the angle through the alpha axis. 343, more than 270, that is when you are here, you are at 270, so this is 0, 90, 180, 270, and the solution that we have found is 343. So it's somewhat, from here, I guess that I didn't make any mistake. Let's go to the next question. Please read carefully and solve it by yourself. Now, this question is a very good question for a test, for example. So you may practice and maybe you can find this question on the test. So try to solve this complete question. It's problem 48, 9 edition. I took it from the 9 edition. Solve it. You solve it. You solve it. And you can solve it correctly, I'm sure. Go ahead. Do the same thing with question 9. And do the same thing with this other question. And good luck. Good luck.